What is tradition? What is its significance? And what are the obstacles in maintaining oral tradition? Frank Lapena answers these questions in his essay, Sharing Tradition. Hi, I'm Sanjeev, and you all are welcome to my channel. Before moving forward, let me know you all that you can access Notes of English through my websites, sanjeevnirwala.com. I'll give its link in video's description and you can check that and visit the website. Tihar is a major festival celebrated in Nepal. In fact, this tradition of celebration has been passing from one generation to another. There is no written text on how to celebrate Tihar, but we have been celebrating it, receiving the information, idea and knowledge from the elder people. Frank Lapena, the American writer, in his essay Sharing Tradition, touches on the issue of passing on culture and values from generation to generation in oral form. Beginning the essay discussing the importance of oral tradition, he moves on to outlining the obstacles and problems with regard to maintaining the oral tradition. In his discussion of oral tradition, he also suggests the difference between oral tradition and literary tradition, and finally concludes the essay examining the relationship between art and oral tradition. So what is oral tradition? Oral tradition, in its simple terms, refers to a form of human communication wherein knowledge, art, ideas, and cultural material is received, preserved, and transmitted orally from one generation to another. This transmission is made possible through speech, folk songs, chant, verses, festival, myths, ritual. Lapena highly admires the oral tradition throughout the essay. For him, the importance of oral tradition is related with the conservation of culture, tradition, and culture across generations and time. He appreciates the oral tradition as the educational tool of understanding the natural world. For the preservation and passing of the oral tradition, he finds both the elder people, old generation, and the young people, new generation, equally responsible. It is the older people, the elder people, who have to transmit the knowledge, and it is the young people who have to be willing to receive it. If knowledge about culture, tradition, and custom is not passed on, then the writer warns culture, tradition, and custom in such scenario is likely to disappear in the course of time. The essay begins with Lapena's narration of what inspired him to meditate on the issue of oral tradition. The observation of the death of the elders and a realization of the difficulty to maintain the tradition evoked the writer's thought on oral tradition. He defines oral tradition as an art form that passes from generation to generation orally. When the elders pass away, then their knowledge, information, and idea is to be carried forward by the new generation. But it is not that easy and simple in the context of today's world. Lapena, in details, discusses the obstacles on the way of maintaining the oral tradition. In this regard, he outlines 4 major problems. The first problem is the inability of the young people, new generation, to fill the niche created by the elder people. In fact, when elders pass away, their knowledge of culture and responsibilities have to be assumed by other individuals. But the problem is, young people do not pay much attention to the culture, tradition, and custom shared by the elders when the elders are alive. As a result, the new generation cannot fulfill this responsibility sincerely. Likewise, the emergence of new technology is the second obstacle with regard to maintaining the oral tradition. The young people are so lost in the new technology that they have no time to listen to their elders. Lapena is critical of new technology as it leads to the disappearance of the oral tradition. He states that in the modern world driven by technology, it is hard to maintain tradition. Similarly, the modern education system is another hindrance on the way of oral tradition. The educated researcher conducts the study on tradition, but there is always the danger of manipulating the truth and reality of the tradition, as the research is likely to be guided by the interest of the researcher. So, the modern education system provides not the true information, but a bundle of erroneous information. The fourth obstacle for oral tradition is the possible misrepresentation of the oral tradition. As the oral tradition is based on oral means, the information of the elders is likely to be perceived mistakenly by the young people, thereby leading to the misrepresentation of tradition, custom, and culture. Lapena also shows the difference between an oral tradition and literary tradition in the text. A literary tradition refers to both written and printed tradition in which information is transmitted through written form. According to him, mistakes can be modified and corrected in the oral tradition, but it is not possible in the literary tradition. He finally concludes the essay by establishing a relationship between art and oral tradition. The oral tradition offers the artistic imagination to the artist, shaping his view on how to visualize the story, the characters, the design and color for art, the atmosphere, etc.